my friend Nicole called me and was like, what's going on? Did you see Justin Bieber's tweet? And I was like, about what?
I was 12 years old.
He was my lock screen, he was my ringtone, he was my, like, I know the time he was born, like, I was the biggest fan on the planet.
Justin, girlfriend?
Your nose is big.
My nose is small.
You have a big nose.
Do you still have any sort of relationship?
Yeah, of course. And people ask me this all the time. We spent so many years so close, and I think that we'll always have that sort of like bond that will remain no matter what.
There have been many questions about Madison Beer's career and how involved Justin Bieber really was. He was clearly fascinated with Madison when she was just 12 years old making videos on YouTube, just like he did. This is what drew Justin to Madison in the first place, and he quickly signed her to his record label. For years, they worked side by side, but there's not much known about what really happened between them. So let's find out what actually happened. Justin Bieber discovered Madison Beer on YouTube in 2012. She was 12 years old singing covers from her bedroom. And Justin, already a global pop star, he shared her video with millions of fans and called her voice insane. Overnight, she had a record deal, Scooter Braun as her manager, and Bieber as her new bestie. And maybe something more? Now hold up, before the Stan Army comes for me. This video is not just about drama. It's about patterns. Because when you dig into how Justin supported, promoted, and weirdly stayed connected to Madison for years, a few questions start popping up. Why was Justin so invested in this 12-year-old? Was it just a pure mentorship or something else? And remember, Justin's had a few suspicious relationships before. His ties to Diddy, questionable. His entanglements with Sophia Richie when she was still a teen, messy. And now people are starting to wonder, was Madison Beer another project or part of a cycle? There are interviews where Madison calls Justin her big brother and fans believe her. But when you watch how he commented on her looks or how they hung out in LA alone when she was underage, it makes you wonder, especially when he had a track record of surrounding himself with much younger women at his peak. Let's pause here. Madison was a literal middle schooler. Justin was 18, fresh off his boyfriend era, and the biggest male pop star on earth. And somehow, a preteen with a YouTube channel caught his attention. Now, to be fair, Justin was also discovered online, but this wasn't just paying it forward. Justin didn't just give her a shout out. He brought her into the fold. She was invited to his events, brought on stage at shows, photographed with him by the paparazzi, and treated like his protege. But remember, this wasn't just Big Brother energy. Justin had the power. He was Madison's gateway into the industry. He could amplify or destroy her chances with a single tweet. And while Madison was understandably starstruck, she called him her lock screen and said she knew the time he was born. Justin was framing her as the next big thing. He called her insane talented and tweeted her videos out multiple times. For someone just starting puberty, that kind of praise is overwhelming. It's also a recipe for deep loyalty and possibly dependence. From a career standpoint, it made sense. But from a grooming perspective, that's where things start to feel off. Because when you mix a teenage girl's hero worship with industry access, fame, and an 18-year-old pop star with a history of sketchy mentors, like Diddy, it's not just a mentorship anymore. It's an imbalance, one that Madison might not have even realized was happening. And that's the problem. It all seemed so innocent, so supportive, so normal. But under the surface, the power dynamics weren't just skewed. They were dangerous. Justin wasn't just a friend. He was her ticket, and he knew it. Justin Bieber wasn't just Madison Beer's idol, he was her boss. After that first viral tweet, Madison didn't just gain fans, she entered Justin's world. Signed to Island Records, managed by Scooter Braun, and labeled Justin's Discovery, she was automatically part of the Bieber orbit. But being inside the orbit meant one thing. You revolved around him. Interviews from that time make it clear. Madison respected him, admired him, even adored him. But Justin? He acted like her handler. He gave her advice, sure, but he also had final say on her music. Before she released anything, it reportedly had to go through him. That's not mentorship. That's executive control. And the age gap? It wasn't just a number, it was leverage. Madison was still learning how the industry worked. She didn't have the tools to push back, and even if she did, how could you say no to someone like Bieber? He was the gatekeeper, the reason she had fans, the one who could make or break a moment with a post or a pap walk. Now, the really strange part is how involved he stayed. Most artists who discover talent pass the baton. Not Justin. He kept her close. Paparazzi would catch them getting food together, hanging out at events, or walking side by side with no team around. It blurred the lines. Were they friends, coworkers, something else? And then there's the weird stuff. Like the time he tweeted, "My friend Madison Beer has a bigger nose than me. Who agrees?" Just why? Was it a joke? A neg? A power move? Madison laughed it off, but the message was clear. Even as he lifted her up, he controlled the narrative. It gets murkier. In interviews, Madison often calls him Big Brother, but you can tell she's always choosing her words carefully. There's gratitude, sure, but also deference. Like she's hyper aware of what she owes him and what could happen if that relationship went south. That's what makes this dynamic bizarre. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't fatherly. It wasn't entirely professional. It was all of them, and none of them. And when a dynamic is that blurry, it's usually by design, because unclear lines are the easiest ones to cross. Things stayed relatively quiet between Justin and Madison until fans noticed something weird. In March 2024, Justin dropped a birthday comment on Madison's Instagram. Not just a polite HBD. We're talking heart eyes emoji, kissy face, even the sweaty red face one. Fans went feral. Is he cheating on Haley? Why is he acting like this? Justin, what are you doing? It wasn't just the emojis, it was the pattern. Justin's comments on Madison's posts had always been flirt-adjacent, just subtle enough to deny, but loud enough to spark speculation. And this time, it wasn't just harmless fun. It came during a wave of Haley divorce rumors. Suddenly, Madison wasn't just the girl Justin discovered. She was back in the middle of the chaos. Some fans rushed to defend her. He comments like this on his guy friends, too. It's just playful. But others weren't buying it. They pulled up old clips of Madison calling Justin her big brother, side-eyed his tweet about her nose again, and resurfaced blurry paparazzi photos of them together. Then came the blind items. Reddit threads lit up. Posts claimed Madison and Justin had hooked up years earlier when she was 15 and he was in his 20s. One even said she was flown overseas, allegedly to countries with lower age of consent laws. Again, all alleged, no proof. But once the rumors started spreading, the internet didn't let go. The energy shifted. Madison, who'd been praised for her voice and her beauty, was suddenly being scrutinized. People accused her of chasing fame, clout hopping, and even being a handler for Justin when he was spiraling. One blind item literally said someone was being paid $10,000 a week to stick by Justin's side and keep him in check. Fans thought it was her. All of this pressure came crashing down on a girl who'd entered the spotlight at 12. A girl who had no control over how she was discovered or how the world decided to view her. And the worst part? Neither she nor Justin ever addressed it directly. No clarifications. No denial. Just more cryptic tweets and Insta comments. And in pop culture, silence feels a lot like guilt. By this point, it wasn't about mentorship. It was about mystery. And mystery fuels obsession. By 2016, Justin Bieber was deep into his messy era, caught between exes, rehab rumors, and spiritual rebrands. And guess who kept showing up right when his image needed polishing? Madison Beer. She wasn't just a background character, she became a buffer. In interviews, Madison would vouch for Justin's good heart. She said he was in a great place and that she was just happy to see him healthy. But behind the scenes, Justin was still unraveling, dealing with breakdowns, paparazzi fights, and constant drama with Selena and Hailey. One blind item claimed a young female celeb was being paid by the team to keep a certain pop star from completely falling apart, to babysit him, to be positive press. And if you look at Madison's appearances during that time, it fits. Her presence in his life always coincided with his scandals. She was like emotional damage control with good lighting. And let's not forget, this was a teenager, living in LA, working with adult men, trying to build a career while also carrying the emotional baggage of one of the most famous people on earth. If that doesn't scream exploitation, what does? Even when Madison tried to step out on her own, the shadow of Justin followed. In every interview, people asked about him. When she released music, headlines still tied her to him. Justin Bieber protege, Madison Beer drops debut album. She couldn't escape the label because the industry didn't want her to. There's a pattern here, one where powerful men surround themselves with young, beautiful women and use them as shields. For Justin, Madison was relatable, non-threatening, loyal, someone who'd say nice things in interviews and wouldn't cross him publicly. But that loyalty came at a price. Madison's public image was shaped by her connection to him, and the more fans started seeing cracks in Bieber's persona, the more they turned to Madison for explanations. Whether she knew it or not, Madison was part of the PR machine. Maybe she thought she was just being supportive. Maybe she didn't realize how deep the manipulation ran. But at some point, it stopped being about friendship and started being about optics. And optics are everything in Hollywood. Eventually, the whispers got too loud to ignore. The rumors, the blind items, the fan theories. People started asking, what's really going on between Madison Beer and Justin Bieber? And Madison? She responded. Kinda. In an interview, she laughed and said, "Oh my God, no, never. Not ever, 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 ever. He's like a big brother." She insisted it was all platonic, that if she wanted clout, she would have dated him already, that she never even thought of him like that. But that's the thing. She had to say that. At that point, Justin was married. Fans were accusing him of cheating. And Madison? She was building a career. The last thing she needed was to be labeled the other woman in the Bieber saga. And yet, the timeline still raises questions. The blurry photos, the casual hangouts, the repeated Insta flirts, the sudden silence every time a headline popped up. It's like they were doing this weird dance, staying just far enough apart to deny anything, but close enough to keep the rumors alive. Justin, for his part, never really denied anything. He stayed vague, ambiguous, left just enough room for speculation to fester. And that's kind of his thing, right? He did the same with Sophia Richie, with Billie Eilish, with anyone younger and talented who came into his orbit. He hypes them up, posts them, gets emotional in interviews, says he wants to protect them. But protection often looks a lot like possession. And the line between mentorship and control gets blurrier every time. As for Madison, she said she's grateful, that she owes Justin for discovering her, that he'll always be someone she can call. But in recent years, they haven't been seen together. They don't interact much online. It's like they quietly drifted or distanced. Because when the optics start getting ugly, silence becomes strategy. Denials become PR moves. And messy histories get swept under red carpets and brand deals. We'll probably never get the full story. Madison's moved on. Justin's married. But the relationship they shared, whatever it really was, left a mark on her career, on his reputation, and on everyone still asking the same question. What really happened between Justin Bieber and Madison Beer? This wasn't just a story about a pop star helping a talented kid. This was about power, image, and how fame distorts relationships before they even begin. Madison was 12, Justin was 18, and the industry, it turned their bond into a marketing tool. Her name was attached to his headlines, her success shadowed by his fame, and every time she tried to step out on her own, someone asked about him. Even now, their names are linked in search bars and gossip forums, long after their last public interaction. Hollywood is built on grooming dynamics. Older men discovering, mentoring, and sometimes manipulating young talent. It's not always obvious, it's not always criminal, but it is common, and it's why stories like this matter. Because Madison's experience reflects a bigger truth, that in an industry obsessed with youth and power, boundaries get blurred. Big brother energy can be a mask, so can mentorship. And when someone holds the keys to your dreams, how do you ever say no? But what do you think? Do you think we should believe Madison's words about their relationship being purely platonic? Or do you also think this relationship has some dark secrets? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration into Justin and Madison's relationship, hit the like button and subscribe for more insights into pop culture's most twisted stories. Because sometimes the truth isn't in the headlines, it's in the patterns we keep ignoring. Thank you for tuning in to Goja Gossip, and I'll catch you in the next one.